workshops, there is not a lot of materials here. As you can tell, it is just sort of a board, because most of what's going to populate it is going to be things that you'll add. So to introduce myself, if you've never seen me talk or done a workshop, which chances are you haven't, my name is Liz Mikolaj. I am the senior UX researcher for Victoria's Secret. Yes, we have a UX team, and a large part of what I do is not only understand sort of how people use websites, but how sort of a intense in-store experience relates to that, and also relates to apps and the like. So I have been in some very strange places and learned some really fun things from people. So as a part of that, another part of my history is I used to work in educational gaming. So I wanted to use a little bit of sort of my game background to go over some concepts, have a little fun, loosen up a bit, because I know a lot of times when we're doing UX workshops, they're so very serious about something. So you don't have to be as serious with this one. It's okay. No one will make fun of you, especially least of all me. Like, I've got like a sword in the background right now, so just to let you know, that's what that is. I just got it today. I'm very excited. So anyway, to get started, the first thing that we're going to do in this is create a character, because throughout this adventure, you're going to have someone that kind of represents you. It doesn't have to be based on you. It can be a little bit more fantastical, but I'm going to walk you through kind of some base like numbers and statistics that will sort of determine a little bit about how your character works. It's going to be super easy. It's based on like number 5 or 10 and all that, so you're not going to have to do hard math. All that I ask is that as I go through these different things, that you write it down in the Miro board, which you should have access to. Does anyone not have the ability to get into the Miro board? No?
Yeah.
Okay, looks like it. I think everyone's in there.
Do you see the
I'm seeing. Yes, I see the kitty. I have 4 cats, so I'm very excited to see cats. Anyway, so to start with, your base numbers for your character, you have 4 things. You have strength, speed, cunning, and determination. And you're going to start with the number 10 for each of those. So go ahead and go find a little spot on the board and kind of write that part down. It really doesn't matter where, just as long as you can see what you're doing.
I'm sorry, my audio cut out like in and out for the past few seconds. Could you repeat what we're doing right now?
Yes. So you're just going to write down your base stats, which are strength, speed, cunning, and determination, and they're all going to have the number 10 related to them. So just okay. To kind of start with there. No problem. I understand how these things kind of go in and out sometimes.
Thank you.
And then once you have that, you're going to pick what is going to be your character class. So you have 4 to choose from, so you get to pick one. You can be a front fighter, a hit and dodger, a sparkle caster, or a support giver. So for the front fighter, you get to add 5 to your strength and your determination.
Looks like
so if that's what you want to do. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm fine. It was an accident. I accidentally hit the button.
Oh, it's okay. I don't know what half the buttons are, and I even did like a whole walkthrough on this, so I completely understand. For hit and dodger, add 5 to strength and speed. For sparkle caster, add 5 to cunning and speed. And then for support giver, add 5 to cunning and determination. Did anybody miss the class thing on that? Because I can repeat anything there.
Can you repeat it one more time? I was trying to figure out the last correction still.
Oh, we write it down. Like, I guess I'll write it in chat.
If you write it on the board, do you want to tell me again?
Oh, yeah. So the base stats again, 10 for strength, 10 for speed, 10 for cunning, and 10 for determination.
So strength, speed,
yeah,
cunning, and determination.
Yep. And then front fighter is +5 to strength and determination.
For what?
The front fighter class is +5 to strength and determination. The hit and dodger is
fighter. So fast.
That's why I'm just adding it into chat right now. So because I realized apparently I talk very fast.
So the front fighter is. I don't have chat open.
It's okay. You can stop trying to do this in notes that way because it's fine. I've got it.
But it might be nice to have it on the board.
It's a big board, so that's the only reason I don't tend to add stuff to the board while it's happening, because you have to go find the spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Whereas, it's easy to pop open the chat.
Are we playing D&D? Is this part of D&D? I feel like.
Kind of. It's slightly based on it. Anyone who actually plays D&D will probably not understand half of these stats because none of them are based on actual D&D stats.
That's actually funny. My friends at work wanted me to play D&D, and I always say, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna play with you guys," and I never do. So this is.
Yeah.
So we're starting with the base stats, and then there are additional classes, and so we're not choosing them yet. Or are you just going through?
You get to choose one of these classes, and then the things that you add to your base stats are based on which class you chose.
Right. Okay. So can we go over the classes and just why would you want to be one?
It's really up to you. It's like whichever one sounds cooler. Like don't think too hard about it. It's basically
you basically build your own character. You kind of what do you want your character to be? More are you speed, strength, cunningness, determination?
Yes, exactly.
Or
yeah, so we got the front fighter, hit and dodger, the sparkle caster. What special things does the sparkle caster get?
They get +5 to cunning and speed. And then the support giver is +5 to cunning and determination. So are we at least at the point where we have all at least selected a class or have kind of an idea of which one they want?
Yep.
Cool. And so again, I'm going to drop this both into chat and on the board because I found my Google Doc. For the next thing you're going to do is pick your weapon. And again, does not matter what class you are. Just pick any of the 5 weapons that I'm going to give you. The first one is the pointiest sword, which gives you a +5 to strength. The swiftest bow, which gives you a +5 to speed. The shiniest staff, which gives you a +5 to cunning. Bag of holding, which gives you a +5 to determination. And your wits alone, which gives you a +5 to cunning. Let's see if I can get this on the board. Ugh. Sorry, I hate using Miro. But anyway, and if anyone missed any of those, I can repeat them. But like I said, I dropped them into the chat because I figured that it might also help to kind of see them. Awesome. I like that the thumbs up thing happens. That is something that gives me good feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, how do you do that?
On the left hand, there's a bar. You can see react.
On the left, like in the chat.
So you have a window, and then there's a frame on the very left, like a menu bar or box.
Oh, I see. Yep. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's right near where your mic and video and share and all of those controls are.
Like brain time.
Yes, thanks for the brain time. All right. Is everybody picked their weapon? Okay. And then lastly, you're going to pick a special skill. And I swear this is the last stat thing you have to do. So we will be done with that part. So again, I will drop it into chat here. So the first stat you can choose is as a special skill is Iron Will. That adds +10 to strength. The second one is Light Feet, a +10 to speed. Fast Talking, a +10 to cunning. Super Niceness, a +10 to strength. And Strong Stomach, a +10 to determination. And again, you pick one of those.
But so super niceness and Iron Will.
Add it +10 to strength, yeah.
Okay, so they're both okay.
It's just whichever one fits you or your character
right.
better.
Yeah, there's many ways to increase your strength.
Mm-hmm. All right, and once you have determined that last math thing, go ahead and give your character a name and a little short description that, you know, is something like how you might like introduce yourself to somebody, like a sentence or two, nothing super long. You don't need to know your entire family history. Just sort of like, hey, I am Bob the Great. I'm great because I do a lot of, you know, running on mountains. Something like that. And then if you feel like dropping in any pictures or whatever, I've had people do that before. If it kind of helps to sort of describe things, by all means, go all out. That is really cute what you put together there, Poppy, by the way. You're so much better at emojis than I am.
I don't know when I decided to use emojis all the time.
I'm still resisting that. Oh, nice Gandalf picture there.
Yeah, you shall not pass with my shiniest staff and my cunning.
Sounds awesome. All right, gonna give you another couple of minutes to finish up your character description and all of that.
Ooh. I'll have to show you the Miro board that I made for the game. Well, that we use for the game that I play. It's
totally well.
It's called Dungeon Bitches. So
I think I'd have fun with that one. All right. It's okay if you've got like a couple tiny things you're trying to finish here, but the last thing you need to do for sort of your character part is, so we're all going to be in the same party minus me. I am your storyteller, so I will do nothing more than set things up, and Poppy is going to just kind of be here in the background being Poppy. So you are now in an adventuring party. Introduce yourselves to your other adventurers. I'm gonna, like, I don't know, cue things, but like whoever wants to go first and introduce their awesome adventure character, please start.
Usually helps to call on people.
Okay, I'm gonna do that then. Sorry, I hate being that person. I see here who's top on my screen. It looks like Anna.
Okay, hold on.
You are on mute.
Took this bow and my sharp tongue. I was
Hey,
like,
Anna, could you start over? You were on mute. We couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Do you hear me now? Oh, no.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
Now we hear it. Yep.
Yeah, I hear.
Okay, that's so weird. Okay, I am Janice the Nice, super quick, super nice, but cross me and I'll hit you twice with my swiftest bow and my sharp tongue. I was just trying to, that's me, I guess.
No, that's awesome. That is like a super great introduction there. That is great. Like, you need to like frame that and put that somewhere for whenever you need people to not cross you.
Okay.
So, all right. Nice to meet you there. All right. And so our next person I will call on then to introduce themselves, Madison. Again, make sure you're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can.
I don't know if I can follow that rhyme. That was so good. So I'm down here where Gandalf is. So I guess I'm Gandalf. You shall not pass. I am a cunning, persuasive caster. Fear my staff. Very cunning and yeah.
That's awesome. Welcome, Gandalf.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right, next is Tommy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so my character is Natsu, the Dragon Slayer, raised by dragons and have strength of a dragon, since all his strength is ice.
That is awesome. All right, Simi.
Oh my!
Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Yes, no, you did. My description is not going to be as great as everybody else's, but my name is Sierra. I am the Strength Master. I can move people and, more importantly, mountains. Don't cross me.
Hey, there's a lot of not crossing happening here. I'm glad that there are no like black cats around, because we'd all be cursed. All right, Sumesh.
Yeah. I am Glaxon the Willing. I'm a support giver with my bag of holding and my strong stomach. I have far more determination than most men.
Awesome. Strong stomach is probably my favorite special thing, so I love it when people pick that one.
I'm giving everyone some pictures just for fun. You can choose to not use them.
All right, I think lastly we have Dominique.
Okay.
Hi.
My character is Bobo the Spiketail. I'm a gargoyle and a support giver, ironically. I'm always up for adventure and causing trouble, but never for my party members.
Nice. I mean, gargoyles guard things, so it makes sense to be a support giver, right? That's kind of the point. All right. So, nice to meet you all, adventurers. So you have been called because Stakeholdia has a dragon problem. So the fact that you have a dragon among you is probably going to be helpful here. However, based on previous adventurer parties, this dragon cannot be defeated. It breathes fire, it flies, and even more disturbingly, there are rumors that it talks. Despite its undefeatable status, the mayor of Stakeholdia wants the dragon gone. It's ruining the local economy by living on a mountain within walking distance of the village. How will you defeat this dragon when there's no hope? So, your first choice as a party then is you can either just go make for the mountain and just go fight this dragon, or do a little bit of preparation beforehand. So the best way to do this that I've seen in the past is kind of like dot voting or something like that. So, or even discussion amongst yourselves. So let's try to get some kind of consensus on if you're going to go with preparation or without.
Is there a place where we're voting in the board, or am I misunderstanding?
Can't we just throw the two options in the chat and everyone reacts to which one?
You can do a poll, but I've made a decision map here.
Sweet.
Yeah, you'll see something that says, "Let's adventure." Yeah, that's where it is.
What was the prompt again?
It was, to just go and fight the dragon with preparation or without. Or just,
I mean like the little story. Sorry.
Oh, that Stakeholdia has a dragon problem and it's currently undefeated.
I see 4 votes. Looks like we need 3 more. 3 more votes.
It's over on the left, towards the left of the board.
I bring everyone to me.
So this is where you can tell that Poppy is a designer and that I'm a researcher because I'm so much more of a Luddite than she is. Oh, all right. It looks like the party has definitely spoken. That we're going to prepare. Very outvoted there. All right. So for the preparation then, you have a couple of things you can do. I'm going to give you 3 choices. You can choose 2. The first choice is to stock up, which means you have the option to buy 3 things from the village. The second choice is upgrade, which means there's a really nice local smith. You can get your weapons like sharpened, strengthened, add more bling to it, and that's that choice. And then the third of these choices is go get some gossip. Maybe learn a bit more about said dragon from the villagers. Again, you can pick 2 out of these 3 choices.
So you get 2 votes. Make your choice wisely.
All right, looks like gossip is certainly happening. And it's a little tight between stocking up and upgrading here. Right, looks like stocking up is winning by 1 vote as the second one, so if you feel strongly the other way, get your vote in. Oh.
Tied.
Now they're tied. Oh, they're tied. All right, well, since I'm the controller here, I'm going to say, as tiebreaker, yes, it is the final countdown. As the tiebreaker, definitely going to say that the second thing you're going to do is upgrade your stuff. So for the upgrade, you're going to get a +5 to your weapon stat. So for everyone. So that's what upgrade will do. But for gossip, it's gossip time now. So that's the important part. +5.
+5.
Everything's based on 5s or 10s because I want to make math easy here.
Oh, it's upgrade your weapons?
Yeah. So, all right. So for the gossip, again, one more decision tree here. You get to choose between, are you going to go to the tavern to get the gossip? Are you going to go to the School of Magic to get the gossip? Or the important sitting place?
Important. Okay. Wait, I gotta get
choose one.
Tavern. If somebody wants to pull in pictures for the tavern, we got the sitting place, important sitting place.
And then the School of Magic.
The School of Magic.
So.
Okay. Looks like I'll just.
So where do you want to get the tea?
Oh yeah. Ooh.
I have a question about the important sitting place.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like someone there that knows everything, or is it like a tree? What that?
It is certain people tend to hang around this who feel a certain type of importance. Certain people hang here. Sorry. See, I told you guys to not take yourself too seriously. That's good. All right. trying to tell like what decisions are here.
And so you get 1 vote?
Yes. Looks like we got a tie between the tavern and the School of Magic.
No one wants to go to the sitting place?
It's okay.
Oh.
Well, we got one there.
Oh, Rhino.
Oh, looks like tavern. Yep. Looks like tavern, y'all. All right. So at the tavern, you find a group of merry people, for reasons I will let you figure out on your own, that are excited to tell you about how many sheep the dragon has eaten. And how old Mary, who lives down the road, has been leaving some of her older sheep in a certain pasture to deter the dragon from coming towards her house. It is quite enough sheep. So now that you've prepared, you've got your weapons upgraded. Good job going to the smith. You talked to the tavern people, had a merry time. You know, hopefully you remember this for years to come. And then it is time now for us to approach the dragon. So, of course, you got to go up the mountain first.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to feel like a huge time climbing because it's a mountain. Mountains are not typically known for good places to walk. And you finally reach the summit together. And the dragon is huge, easily bigger than a house. And upon seeing your party says, "Oh, this again." They snort, revealing small balls of flame from their nostrils. What do you do? So your choices are, you attack the dragon. Second choice, you talk to the dragon. The third choice is you offer the dragon something. And then your last choice is you run away. Talk like adults.
What the heck?
Saying one for bribery. Another for bribery. Oh, someone. So 2 for talk like adults. I can tell y'all are in UX. Another talk like adults. Huh. All right. Judging by the number of people we have here, it looks like you guys are going to talk to the dragon like adults.
Wait, there's a tie between bribe and...
There's a tie? Oh, I see now. Yep, there's... Okay. So, since there is a tie here, I'm going to say you're going to try talking first, and then bribing. So, for talk, whoever is your most determined support giver. Did anybody pick support giver as a class in here?
Yes.
We got 2 support givers? Or just 1?
I think 2, yeah.
All right. Which of you has the higher determination number? Or you just kind of give your determination number.
Mine is 30.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the 30?
Smash. Or Glaxon, the willing.
All right, Glaxon the willing.
Okay, you're talking to him.
So you get to ask the dragon 3 questions.
Oh.
Sorry.
So I just start talking to the dragon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretend I'm the dragon for right now.
Yes. Dragon, where have you come from?
I live here, so I come from here.
Just a side quest, or not to the dragon, but question about the scenario. How long has this problem been going on, or did it just suddenly start? Is what I guess
It has been a problem to the point where there have been other adventurers who have failed.
Okay, well, I guess that was a waste of a question there on my part. But anyway, dragon, is there Is there something we can offer you in so that you will not attack our sheep?
I mean, it'd be cool if I had my own sheep.
Dragon, if you were given sheep, would you know how to care for them so that you could have a sustainable supply of sheep?
Why would I care for the sheep? I want to eat them.
Okay. Learned a lot today, Dragon. Appreciate your time.
All right. So that was your first one. So since your second most was to bribe the dragon, who has the most cunning in the party? So just, yeah, go ahead and like kind of just put your cunning number.
It's my cat.
I just have 20, so I don't know who can do that.
Madison has 30.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 30 seems like that's probably going to be the winner here.
Gandalf.
Unless someone can beat that. All right. So, Gandalf, what would you want to bribe the dragon with then?
Do I know what the dragon likes? Sheep? Is that?
So far, that is what it appears that we've all learned, is that the dragon likes to eat sheep.
Dragon, what if we gave you your own sheep farm?
I mean,
I can't think of a good bribe. I need help.
So who else is cunning in the party that can help Gandalf here with a good bribe?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Is that a sheep card?
I have an idea. I'm also cunning, but not as cunning as Madison. Maybe
having an off day.
It's okay. We all have those. Maybe we ask the dragon if we arrange like a kind of sheep delivery service. So that way we deliver sheep on a sustainable basis, since the dragon doesn't really care about, actual farming and stuff, and we'll just ship the sheep to them, to the dragon. We'll bribe it with, see, this is what level 15 cunning gets you. It gets this. Yeah, so we'll just be like, hey dragon, we'll give you some sheep if you just don't attack the village, and we'll give you sheep every however long it takes a sheep to I was gonna say digest another sheep. just take another sheep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The dragon is intrigued by your offer of sheep delivery. But is still a dragon, so is a little concerned. There have been a lot of people that keep coming to fight me all the time. What are your assurances that no one will fight me?
You don't fight us, we won't fight you.
What? Sorry,
I said you don't fight us, we won't fight you.
See, I've heard that before, though. The villagers have been very cunning and have tried to trick me with certain offers. So I will give you a test. And so the dragon after these discussions, is now going to give you a test of strength to see how dangerous you are. So, who has the highest strength in the party? So, kind of just, if you have feel like you have a high strength number, kind of pull it out. Okay, we got 25, we got 20. Another 20. Oh, looks like 25 might be our highest strength. So, who has the 25 strength there?
Natsu the Dragon Slayer.
All right. Well, that makes sense, Dragon Slayer, that you would come to show me your strength. So I'm going to use a dice roll thing because this is just easier in this setting with the smaller peoples we have here, because normally I have dice for everybody, or at least a dice roller. So you will have to get a 10 or higher. And this is a D6, just so you know. All right, let's see what we got.
2d6.
Yep. You have rolled a 9.
No.
So it's like, you don't seem like such a dragon slayer there. I'm not so sure about your ability to convince the other villagers to not keep bothering me. So, who most determined among you can tell me that I won't get bothered? So, who has the biggest determination number?
No, I guess it's me again. Black Sun.
You are just a big dragon negotiator today, aren't you? So, all right.
What's your number?
Tell me.
30 for determination.
Yeah. That'll do it. So, all right, Glaxon. What will you tell the villagers to keep them from bothering me and keeping up my sheep supply?
I will tell them that whosoever harasses this dragon shall receive a curse upon their family for generations, and the people in this village are very superstitious, and they know that it's off limits. So yeah.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure that I trust you, but I'm willing to give this a chance. So, after this interaction, Dragon's like, I hope to not have to see any adventures again unless they're bringing me sheep anytime soon. And goes and flies to an inaccessible part of the mountain to go chill for some time. Because today is 420. So,
Magic dragon.
Yes, now that your primary mission is done, you didn't defeat the dragon, but you seem to have found a solution with the dragon. What are you going to tell the mayor? So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes amongst yourselves to kind of think about sort of what is the story that you'll end up telling the mayor, who was hoping you would defeat the dragon. But obviously you might have found something better. So how will you do that? Think of it as kind of like an elevator pitch. So, and then, we'll get somebody who hasn't done much dragon speaking here to be the one to kind of present it. So, go ahead and kind of, I guess, write and talk a little bit, in an area where you can see, and let's figure out how to tell this tale to the mayor.
I guess we have to emphasize the benefits.
There's stuff happening in the chat.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, say a lie and say we killed it and want a reward from the mayor. And then let's just say that the dragon is super nice, really chill, easy to converse with. Since it could be reasoned with, we organized a sheep drop-off.
It's like Uber, but for sheep delivery.
Well, I guess we have to say like why this is better than killing the dragon.
Yuba.
We can't kill the dragon.
Yeah, it's like a next best alternative for like, since we can't, I don't know.
Maybe there's too many sheep in the land and the dragon is actually an asset to getting rid of it.
It's like, have you ever had this problem? You're just walking along and the sheep start crossing the road and you can't even get where you're going. Well, be less sheep this way.
We have a if the dragon doesn't get his sheep, he'll start eating children.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Think of the children.
Any other ideas on how to talk to the mayor? Then we'll get yelled at for not killing the guy. All right. So let's see. Who has decent audio that we've only heard like a little bit from? Since you got a lot of emojis on your little chat here, Anna, would you like to be the one to tell the tale to the mayor?
Sure, I'll tell the mayor.
All right, let's go for it. Give the pit to the mayor.
So, you wanted us to kill the dragon. So when we got up there, we found out that the dragon can be reasoned with. He's actually a pretty nice guy. He really likes the taste of sheep. So we just like discussed maybe a way for us to offload some unused, kind of broken down, not great sheep to give to the dragon. And, when the next cycle of broken down sheep come around that we can no longer use, we'll give him more sheep, like, just on that kind of basis. It's like a sheep drop off. And the dragon was like, yeah, that's really cool. It's cool with me. I like that better than being killed. So we discussed that, and I think we have a pretty good shot. We just got to all get on the same page.
Okay, that's interesting. But what is that going to do for my local economy?
Well, as you know, you can't give bad sheep away. You can't sell it. You can't use it for anything, not even wool. So I totally suggest this is the best option. You can't just waste sheep, right? You don't want to waste a sheep, a sheep, and you. So I'd say this is probably our best bet. Your local economy, it won't suffer. We'll make sure that there's plenty of sheep to go around too. We'll just make sure we have a good breeding program in place. That way, everybody gets a sheep, and the dragon gets a sheep, and nobody suffers.
All right, that is an interesting solution. I will take it into consideration with the council, because, I mean, we don't have all the information yet. You know, what if somebody else comes to town and really can kill the dragon? But, you know, all right, we'll try this sheep drop-off thing. We'll see if that works or not. But if it doesn't work, we'll let you know very quickly. And so, thus concludes this quest and this journey. Now, I bet a lot of you are wondering, why the heck was I spending all this time talking about sheep, learning numbers, handling dragons? Well, what this kind of represents is a lot of the journey that you deal with whenever you're in any team, either as a researcher or as someone who works with researchers in UX. Okay? You know, main things you have to do is you have to know yourself. So all of the dealing with all of the stats and all of that was highly technical. But, you know, all of us know what are the things that we're specifically good at, what our backgrounds are, what we've done to kind of get to this point. So it may not be as easy as stats based on 5s and 10s, but it is something that you can have a very good in-depth knowledge of and be able to kind of communicate to other people. But also, you'll change, you'll learn, you'll adapt over time. Just like, you know, getting a good shiny staff can kind of upgrade your situation. And then another thing is, it's dangerous to go alone. You gotta work with a team. You know, you wouldn't have been able to do this alone. You had to be at an adventuring party. You had to have someone who was cunning, and have somebody who was determined, someone who was strong, someone who could talk very well to a dragon. You know, these are all things that, you know, in sort of real situations has to be the case. It's sometimes a researcher, as I have been, sometimes you do end up going alone for parts of it, but in an overall project, you're never really truly alone. And then some form of preparation helps. Now, had you guys chosen the option that was just go run up and get the dragon, you would have had to deal with a bird with teeth and a few other things I had to throw at you. So, you know, preparation, it doesn't just allow you to make sure that you have, you know, the good gossip to know a dragon like sheep. It also helps you in sort of dealing with research. I find myself most of the time spending a bulk of a project doing just making sure I know my biases, I know the biases of the people I'm working with, and all of the possible assumptions that could be going into what we're asking. You know, if you think about in this case, you know, what if the dragon was vegetarian? What would you have dealt with then? You know, these are all sorts of things that kind of come up. And then your subjects and your research can be difficult. This was not a dragon you could have defeated. It's more of a dragon that you deal with. And that is honestly the case when you're dealing with people, places, societies. They're not necessarily difficult in the way that, you know, people are terrible and horrible to deal with. They're just complex, and you might not always be able to empathize with them directly in a way that it is someone that you know very closely. And it's up to you to get over that a lot of times. And then how you handle sort of these difficult situations marks your level of experience. And even if you don't feel like you handled it well, you learned from it, right? You know, in this case, some of you now are like expert dragon negotiators, I think. And then regardless of what happens with research, you need to be able to tell a story. So you kind of failed at sort of what your initial people of Stakeholdia wanted you to do. They kind of wanted you to defeat said dragon. You didn't do it, but you provided a different option. You provided information that they didn't know about. And then lastly, you know, it's good to be involved with other people. You know, maybe sometimes play a game. We sometimes get really bogged down in the details of our work, and, you know, depending upon the sector that you're in, it can feel kind of heavy at times. So it's good to kind of every once in a while step out of things and maybe give a dragon some sheep. So that is sort of kind of what this was about and kind of the lesson there. And so with the time that we have left, if you have any questions or discussions or whatever, this is like the fastest I've been able to get through this, so I'm really stoked with you guys about that because I always tend to go over. So yeah, floor is open for whoever wants to stick around still or what have you. And this was fun, by the way. I'm always pleased to see like what people pick for these.
Yeah. I just want to say that this was a lot of fun. This was a great exercise, and thank you for putting this together, and thank you. Was it Poppy for visualizing all the stuff? Yeah.
Yes, thank you for turning this into a flowchart.
I had a lot of fun and I learned a lot, so thank you. I'm going to have to hop off though because I have a very needy puppy right now.
Oh, that's okay. I understand. Yeah. It was nice, and thank you for the presentation bit that you did there. That was really well done.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yes.
I tried that very on the fly.
Hey, it's. I know I kind of put people on the spot for that, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And if anybody wants to kind of like adapt this for their team, I have like a Google Doc with sort of what I have written down. Obviously, we didn't do every branch of whatever, but kind of like if you wanted to kind of play with it, feel free, just kind of mention me as where you got it from. I'm cool with that. I'm very open source about shit. So
do you want to link it in the Miro board?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Gotta change the restriction on this real quick.
I have a question, actually.
Sure.
So what do you do when like your product owner or someone says, hey, I need this product out in like a week, or and you can't do a lot of the research, and I know you have to do guerrilla research. What would be the best way in doing those kind of research where you don't have a lot of time?
Definitely don't go to people in your building.
Okay.
I know that is a thing in a lot of different situations where they're like, well, I'll just find somebody who is in the building who just doesn't work in this. They're going to have a bias that's going to be very different than talking to random people. So what I have done in the past is that I have actually gone into basically like a coffee shop. Obviously, that's not the same these days, but let's pretend like people go to coffee shops and have some gift cards. And I also make sure I let the employees know that I'm not a creeper and why I'm there. Be nice about that. But, with very small gift cards, like $5, $10 ones, because you can get a cup of coffee for that, right? And, show them something that I have. Dropping the link into the chat and on the Miro board. So I can figure out how to get the text to work again. I think I did. It'll be up near the top of the board if I did that right. I don't think I did it right. Well, no, it's there. It's just really freaking tiny. Anyway, that's the Google. So yeah, so that's one of the ways I've done it. And the other is, a big thing that I have learned. So I've been with Victoria's Secret for 5 years now. So to give you an idea, kind of the level of experience I have there. And so sometimes part of it is actually doing a pushback on a product owner instead of just kind of being like, yeah, cool, I'll just do some guerrilla research in this week here. Be like, what are we actually trying to learn here? And is this part of a more iterative process of the product rather than something we need to test right now? Because sometimes things are better for test. And in that case, it's not just up to user research, it's up to your analytics partners or all of that. Like that's a different form of collaboration. sometimes it's kind of being like, do we really need to put users in front of every part of this small process? Or do we need to get a much better understanding of our users in general and then plan for that as it is in a cadence with, a product team? So to give you an idea of where I'm coming from there, I'm not embedded in a specific product team. I serve all the product teams, as well as coordinate with our insights team who do surveys, and they're typically asking questions like, do you like bows on your bra? Things like that. And then our analytics team who will be handling the A/B testing and the like. So I sit in a spot where I get to ask the hard questions of, what are we actually trying to learn here, folks? Is this actually the question we should be asking? Where should we be stepping back in some cases? And that's, I think, some of the hardest work to do. And it took me a couple of years to get to the point where I could do that, because I spent probably my first year just running usability test after usability test after usability test. And while that gave me a huge corpus of knowledge to start from and gave me a crap ton of practice talking to people, it proved after time I was asking a lot of the same questions and getting a lot of the same answers. And it was better to kind of go back and be like, am I really concerned about the usability of this small part of the website? Or are we concerned about sort of the overall experience that someone is handling when, I'm going to use bras as an example because it's honestly our biggest product, the bra buying experience. So do we need to think of this as a strategic initiative, or is this, a down and dirty type of thing? So I hope that kind of helped with your question, because I know it's a little different for everybody, sort of what their situation is working, if they're embedded in a product team or not. But even with, because we have designers who will be embedded in product teams, and so I've taught them how to do usability studies for themselves. So even for them, sometimes, it's important to push back.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was just working with teams over like agile, and like people are just kind of like, hey, we need something, and then especially I'm from like a UX research and designer, it's like, hey, we need to understand the user before, we make a product that doesn't work. So it's just, it was just an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and the thing with agile teams is there is nothing wrong with moving fast if you have gotten to the point where you are just iterating on things, or you already have a good base knowledge. But I think one of the most fundamental and one of the hardest things for any researcher is to get people out of the iteration loop if you have found a fundamental mismatch of things. So I'm trying to think of a good example here. So since I deal with a situation where people are in stores and online, one of the fundamental mismatches we have is that we've had to deal with in the past. And again, this is no big secret and all that, is that some people just like to shop in stores. Like there's nothing you can do about the digital experience that's going to make them go, yeah, this is the website I'm going to go to today. And so in that case, it's not that you've lost those users necessarily. It's, what are they engaging with digitally then? Are they looking at emails that you're sending and then finding out like, oh, there's a sale and they go to the store? Or like, what then are they engaging with? Again, fairly general example there. I can't go into too terrible specifics, but that's sort of the kinds of things that getting out of sort of that loop, because experimentation is great. And, those kinds of things, moving faster, great. But they teach you very specific, very small things related to a very small time period, oftentimes. And it's part of sort of the leveling up process, I guess, in research, to get to the point where you can sort of learn how to, instead of having people, when they're asking, how do I get people to do this thing, very specifically related to, another examples, I deal with merchandisers a lot. So how do I specifically, make sure they see this thing I'm trying to sell? Well, like any other thing that people see, because they're here to buy something, right? So instead, kind of encouraging people to ask a better question as opposed to a smaller question, which is more along the lines of, what are we not like delivering well to people that is making them miss certain of these things? Or are we missing whole segments of people in this? Which again, subtle difference, but it's, you know, one of those kinds of things.
Okay.
Anything else? We've still got a couple minutes.
I dropped I made a PDF and I dropped it in here as a link to the Google Doc.
Okay.
And I gave.
Thank you for the PDF.
I also put your Twitter and your Gmail.
Oh, yes. I'm extraordinarily inactive on Twitter. Like occasionally I'll have a thought and I'll throw it in there, or most oftentimes I'll see somebody else have a thought and be like, yeah, I'm retweeting that, but that's about it. But it's still a thing you can message me on if that's somewhere you're on a lot. Yeah, you can email me. I'm not terrible at responding to emails, but if you haven't heard from me in 2 days, it's not because I hate you and I'm ignoring you. It's just because I put it in a folder that says respond to this and just haven't done that yet. So, yeah.
You have a LinkedIn, Liz?
Yeah. So okay. The easy part about finding me on LinkedIn is there are literally no other Liz Mikolaj on LinkedIn. So if you have my name spelled right, you've got me. The only other Mikolajs that are on LinkedIn are related to me, and none of them go by Liz. So, or at least on, American English LinkedIn. I would imagine Polish LinkedIn has a heck of a lot of Mikolajs, but we're not on that LinkedIn. But yeah, so I will totally accept any requests. You don't even have to say a long litany of, hey, I was in the workshop. You just say, hey, I was there. I was in the workshop. I saw you. You seemed like you were all right. That's fine. Okay, just as long as I know you're not like a complete random stranger, because, I think probably my biggest pet peeve with LinkedIn is like all the people who are like part of like different like fast remote user research platform things that'll like friend me and be like, I'm trying to sell you this platform. I'm like, yeah, and I have to go through a very lengthy procurement process. No. Oh, my email is literally just my name in all lowercase with a period between the Liz and the Mikolaj at Gmail. I'm responding to chat because I have both the windows open. Yeah, there you go. I'm usually much faster at typing, but I cut my thumb today. And so now I was dicing some onions. Onions are dangerous.
Think of crying for 2 reasons at that point.
Yeah, I was there. That was not a good look earlier today.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is like too specific for this, but I wanted to know like how, or like what tools do you use to like recruit participants? Like I know like it might be a little different for you since like you guys also have stores and mm-hmm. you're able to like maybe get some user there to participate. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, like are there other tools that you use?
Yeah, so that is actually a pretty great question because I've been through a couple of different platforms. We started with UserZoom. They didn't have very good moderated, so we then switched to Validately. And then UserZoom bought Validately, and so now they're UserZoom Go. So the UserZoom Go part is honestly pretty fantastic. it allows you to do a very robust, like moderated session with people from their panel. You just have to pay them for to pay the people, or you can bring in your own list of people. So if you have like email list or what have you, you can use that. But I mainly use their panel now because it is unbiased. As far as like, the industry that I'm in, they are people that like to do remote testing. So they will be a tad bit more tech savvy than the average person, but they're very good if you just need to like get out there and get people who, depending upon your screener, gotta have a good screener, but to get out of sort of like, a standard sort of customer list or any of that, to kind of just get random people to talk to you about stuff. They've been pretty great participants. I haven't had very many issues with their ability to kind of answer questions, and you're in their house most of the time. Well, like this year, you're in their house. I've been in people's cars or outside their workplaces, because it's wherever the heck they are at, and I typically do it through mobile. So, people are even less tethered to where they're at. And so you get like a pretty good look into sort of how people actually behave that I think is a little bit more natural than bringing them into an office or things like that. So I will say that, just any sort of decent remote testing tool, I like that one, but a remote testing tool that has specifically moderated, because if it's just this unmoderated thing, it's basically a survey with a video, and if you need like a couple of quick hits on stuff quickly, that's awesome. Nothing wrong with that, that style of, getting people and doing research. But, if you're wanting to like, sit down, have a conversation with somebody, it's typically easier to do it if they're doing it on their phone, in their car, or in their house. So that's kind of, it's kind of what I use. But what are some of the other ways that I've done things? So one of the research I worked with, she would pop into different like Slack channels for things. I've just realized the main component of why I've been able to pretty successfully get participants throughout the years is compensation. It doesn't have to be a lot, but something, is better than nothing. And even if someone is like the greatest, biggest fan of your product, it's typically better to give them something. And especially these days, everybody could use a little extra something or other. And in my case, I had access to gift cards like pretty regularly. But, even through a lot of these, the testing services like UserZoom Go, they're basically just, giving them money in an account. So that one I think is even less biasing. But yeah, if you can get access to gift cards, that tends to go pretty far.
Yeah, that's what we do at my company. And like we have tried it with like different amounts, and it seems like even with the low amount, like you can get away with it. But yeah, like we used Craigslist. So I mean, I've gotten scammed like twice.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting experience. But yeah, we were looking into, I actually did look into, is it Validity? Validately.
Yeah.
I looked into that, but I didn't really like know anybody that used it.
Yeah, I can tell you, definitely recommend. I think part of other favorite features that they have in that is it's not just they have a decent recruiting panel, but you can invite people to the video sessions and they don't see that they're observers. So, which is extraordinarily helpful, because I think one of the biggest problems in a lot of UX research is we tend to kind of go off and do it by ourselves and then come back and be like, hey, look, here's all the stuff. I much prefer people to be involved enough in the process, even to the point of being there in sessions, just not in a way that the person I'm talking to can see, but be able to chat at me and give me follow-up questions, or, you know, be like, oh, can you clarify on this point? Things like that. Granted, that is a whole other skill set, but they have a very robust chat feature during that, and a very easy way to allow partners to be watching, and but watching in a way that they won't like interrupt things or mess up things with the participant. And your note takers that you have are also in there, and then they have their own pane, and they can tag things with like hashtags. So like if you're having particular things you want people to look at, they'll, you know, you can kind of be like product page, and then you can then look in later when you're at the recording, you will see all of the timestamps related to stuff that the note taker has, and then be able to pull in a hashtag of like all the instances of something. So it cuts down on the annoying parts of cleaning up videos for analysis.
Yeah.
Like, not to be a commercial or anything for that, but it's probably been the best tool I've used.
Well, good to know. Thank you.
And I know a lot of these may be kind of spendy, and not everybody has big panty money, but it's, you know, if you can argue that that bit of budget, it has, like, I don't have to spend nearly as time worrying about recruiting as I used to, because our previous recruiting partner was the National Survey Research Center. They will help you recruit people, by the way. So that's another thing. If you need something that's a little cheaper, they have a harder time getting people in sometimes because they primarily call people. Being the National Survey Research Center that they are, I think they're getting to the point where they're doing more text and more email now. But at least whenever we were using them last, but they are, again, they'll do stuff for companies. You can work out contracts with them, and once you figure out a good cadence, they have a really great staff of people who literally just are really good at making people not hang up on them. So that's another odd avenue that isn't necessarily a thing that's for, you know, marketed towards UX people. But if you need something that's got a better rate of return than Craigslist, that's also something to look into.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry. Since you didn't have your camera on, I had like that weird little pause moment there, which, again, I don't mind if you don't have your camera on. That's up to you. But I always, are we done? Okay. All right. Again, any last questions? We've got about 6 minutes before the session ends. Where do some of y'all work? Just, I guess is the question that's in my mind. I'm always curious as to like what other people in the Midwestern sphere are out there. I'm technically not in Indy, by the way. I am in Columbus, Ohio, because that's one of our headquarters. The other's in New York.
I don't know which would be better, Columbus and New York.
For a while, I got to go between both.
Nice. Well, it's good to see you again. I'm glad I was able to catch the end of your workshop.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. It's always fun to do these. This is probably, like, I keep debating if I'm gonna like do a talk again ever, but like this workshop's just a lot more fun.
I would support you in either.
All right. Well, if everyone's gonna get back to their lives and stuff, I'd love to sit and have some dinner. So I hope you all got a good amount of the time you wanted to sink into this out of this, because I Don't know if you were paid or not, or paying or not. So I always want to make sure it's worth at least the time sink. So, all right. Have good evenings and, have fun.